I now invite on stage Mr. SUBROTO BHATTACHARYA, who's the Senior VP at UNIVARIETY, and he'll be talking about unlocking alumni success through technology.
So I'll start with my session, which is unlocking of alumni potential through technology. Now, see, we have been mostly talking about technology, we're talking about curriculums, we were talking about schools, and most of you are educators who have been a part of this beautiful journey, which we call is, making curriculums, making schools, making children learn. But there is something which is much more important and, or I can say critical, as well as untapped, which is unexplored. And we might have that in mind, but we have never done much about it, which I'm sure that you will all agree. Can you tell me what is the biggest wealth in the school today? I mean, there would be many, I would say, or some. What do you think is one of the most important wealth for a school today? Can anybody respond to that question? Sorry, ma'am? Yeah, students, yeah, you're near to that, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, so, I mean, what kind of students? So students who are there with you, we certainly talk about successes, and that's what I heard Manjula ma'am saying, which she said very correctly and rightly, and I completely agree with her, that, we try to talk about our successes more than about our failures. But what makes people is their failures. I think you will all agree with that point. So, alumni that we are talking about is a big connect that we can do with schools, because they are your real wealth, they are your real gold mines, who have gone out to colleges and they have experienced it, they have failed in their lives maybe, and they have learned, they have, fell down from big places, then they have got up and then walked up and become successful people in life. So what else we can do with our alumni is what we do. So as an organization, I'll just give you a little brief about what we do. We are basically a career guidance organization which set up career guidance for schools. And this is based on 4 pillars generally, right? So, yeah, I'll use this, I think. Oh, sorry. No, this okay. Sorry for the interruption, yeah. So what we see is just the tip of the iceberg. That's what this says all about. Yeah. So what are these 4 pillars that we are talking about? Is your psychometric assessment, that is one pillar, or we can say a perspective to what we say. On-demand counseling, that's personal, in-person, as well as online. Then all that we talk about is technology, how to leverage that, because humans are not always accessible and not accessible, 24/7. Third part is your alumni guidance, which I'm going to talk about today more. And then the connect to the universities and the colleges. This we call is a comprehensive system through which we guide our students in the school. Now, what we're going to talk about, now, this journey is being split into milestone, how we do that. It's a very quick thing that we do. So, you start your alumni journey through selection of your branches or the college that you would like to go. And the process which follows is quite in-depth that we do. So I'm not, it's very intricate, so I'm not getting into the details of the entire system now. So what we are talking about today is the alumni guidance system and how we do that. Now, if you talk about colleges, if you talk about universities or institutions, institution is known not by the number of acres or lands which you have in the college or the school. It is known by your alumni and how well your alumni has done in his life, what courses he has done, what studies he has done, all that counts. And that's what makes institutions like Harvard or IIT even for that reason very, very important, right? Now, what we're talking about, how do we enable? So I'm going to take some cases very quickly as to how we make this alumni as a system in the school. So we take up cases and link your alumni with your students in the classrooms. Right. So there's a story that I have two stories to tell you about. One about Ishan, who has been a part of a CBSE school in a tier 2 city. He, appeared for his JEE examination. He applied to IIT only. That was one thing which he did. And he had to drop a year because he could not clear his IIT in the first year. And so, but he had to appear for the second year or the second attempt he had to do. Only that he did not know about that. The statistics says that only 3% success rate is there for second attempt students to get cleared in the IIT examinations. But good fortune that second year he applied for a few more colleges and he got through a good college ultimately. Now, the interaction primarily what a student of a school would have with an alumni like Ishan would be that, why did you drop a year, even after scoring so much high? So he would talk from his past experience and the mistakes which he did. How did you cope with the social pressures? There is a lot of social pressures, that children. And one of the recent movies I've seen was Chichoras. I don't know how many of you have seen it. If you have not seen it, you should see that movie. It's all, and a parent should see that movie. I mean, every parent or every stakeholder in the child's journey of learning should see that movie. It's a very beautifully made movie, and it talks about the social pressures, how children react. We do not know ultimately by even being with them for so long, for so many years, that how would they react ultimately. And certainly then, and why did you not apply to other colleges? So we talk about that. Okay, I'm going to show you a small video that I would like my AV team to kind of just set this up. It's done? It's on? Yeah, okay. Take it. So, yeah, sure.
The myth being that, it requires constant, pure academic involvement, which is not true. Like I said earlier, if you're able to understand the concept of things, it's enough to get you cracking in these courses. As long as you invest the right amount of time to really understand what the subject is trying to teach you. And again, both law and psychology require your authorities to be stated, which is that this case said this, and this is in the common law saying this. When it comes to law, you usually have open book exams. So if you know your concept, you can apply them very clearly. When it comes to psychological science, you need to know your cases, and I'm fine with doing that really. The only myth that I personally broke for myself was that I still allocate just as much time for dancing. In fact, now I also act and I also model. So I give a lot of time to my professional work in these arenas, as well as music as one of my careers. And I also have a thriving social life. So the myth really is that you need to only be focused in academics, and that's completely untrue. Like I said, the trends to watch out for are definitely alternate forms of therapy in psychology. And when it comes to law, they're really looking at people who can bring new ways of thinking. They want you to be able to think in new ways, and they're very, very keen to have a lot of new lawyers coming up, fresh talent coming up. There are too many branches really to talk about. Psychological science has clinical psychology, it has criminology, it has psychiatry. Psychiatry is when you prescribe medicine. Psychology is where you research. When it comes to law, you have tort law, you have contracts law. Tort law is civil wrongdoings. Contracts is to do with any form of contracts. You have business law, you have psychology in law, you have journalism in law. Pretty much psychology and law, I believe, are subjects that touch upon every aspect of our lives. So really, it's about finding what combination really interests you and what you really want to pursue. I believe that if you want to pursue these, you should really focus on English language and literature. You should really focus on biology. You should focus on chemistry, mathematics definitely, because it helps you analyze and think the right way. Psychology, of course, and if you're able to find some kind of foundation course for law, it'll be really helpful, although it's not required as such. 2-3 good skills is composure and being calm, management of time, and being able to understand concepts and being able to accept that, this is how the system works, but this is all the new stuff that I can bring forth. So really understanding the existing system and giving your own inputs is what both these subjects really look for.
Such umpteen examples, we could kind of connect with almost like 5 lakh plus students as alumni across India and abroad. And so that's what it is in terms of. So this girl, if you've understood the video that was, it's saying, she actually got admissions or offers from 6 universities. And she's talking about taking dual course. Along with that, she's also pursuing her hobbies as a therapy methodology. That's what she's saying. And the myth that she's trying to break is that you can do this if you can plan it better. Now, this kind of an information, if any child gets, is so valuable to the child, and he can create the path unless he goes on a labyrinth path. So that's what it is. And if you see, the statistics also show that there are almost 24% dropout every year in schools. That's the percentage which is very high, which is almost closer to a quarter. Students drop just because they don't know what to do, right? If this kind of an alumni connect comes to you as a school, we build up this for your entire school. We build up, and this is specific to your schools. We do not share the data with any other schools. That's how we do with that. And so we maintain that confidentiality also. I would like to run you through, how basically happens is this. We talk about the alumni search. We have created these 3 slides for a quick thing. So it's basically done. So for example, I'm a child and I want to study medicine in America. So I will type this down somewhere. I would want to look from a country perspective, from a city perspective, from a course perspective, or from a college perspective. And once I do that, I get this screen, which will tell me about, okay, from my school, these number of students gone to these number of colleges and doing this specific course. Now, I want to interact with one of my alumni or one of my seniors. How do I do that? I click on that. Once I click on that, any one of the thing, I get to know about maybe this child, or the senior who has joined the Parson New College. What was her marks? What was her scholarship which she got? What was her subject scores that she got? And what are the colleges she got accepted in? And then if there is a video, which is a webinar, what we say, or a video, sorry, not a webinar, a video which is there, that interaction will happen in terms of one-to-one. I can chat also. So basically what you're trying to do is that you're trying to create your alumni as your in-house counselors. We look for them externally also. We do that. All schools do that, right? But there is a dearth of them. Now, how many times would a physical counselor even come to your school in the whole year? That's limited, right? This kind of a thing is available 24/7, right? Some of the alumni is available to you, to talk to you. Okay, there are video messages from seniors and your regular, webinars which we do. So you can search through the video search tool. There's a video in the system that you can see, and there's a scheduled webinar which we conduct on a regular basis, which is mostly weekly, that we call, where you can attend and clear your queries or questions that we have. We are proud to partner with almost like 350 progressive schools in India, and these are one of the top iconic schools only. And yeah, so what I say in the end, I want to end this with saying that quality of any educational institution will be determined by how their alumni do in the 21st century. So that's how we recognize good institutions, and that's the legacy that we want to set. So your college admissions and achievement strongly impacts your perceptions for your parents as well as for your stakeholders who are a part of this journey. And thank you so much.